Sometimes the subject matter of a movie is strange. The subject matter is one that only appeals to a niche cult following. But the movie about that film with the niche cult following is one that really does appeal to everyone. I'm HelloGreedo, this is Movie Monday, and today I'll be talking about The Disaster Artist, with a cold, if you can't tell. So a lot of people consider a movie called The Room to be the worst movie of all time. The best worst movie of all time, as a lot of people say. It's unintentionally funny. Screenings of The Room are often sold out. The director, writer, producer, and star of the movie, Tommy Wiseau, always finds a way on stage and gets showered in praise from the folks who go to these screenings. I get it, we all have our little cult favorite movies, but The Room is one I've never understood. I've seen it once, and that was enough for me. But the story of its making, the mystery behind its creator, that's what's intriguing to me, not the movie itself. The Disaster Artist is a movie about that movie. It's a movie about the making of The Room. James Franco plays Tommy Wiseau, and he completely disappears in the role. He nails Wiseau's mannerisms, speech patterns, and with the subtle prosthetics on Franco's face, I, at times, completely forgot that it was James Franco. His performance is the best part of the movie, by far. At times you really sympathize with him, and at other times you really despise this guy because he's a self-centered egotist. Letting stress get the best of him, thinking everyone is against him, having no self-awareness. The dynamic between Tommy and Greg, played by James Franco's brother Dave Franco, is weird, intriguing, compassionate, and extremely puzzling. Greg has a dream to become an actor. He's nervous, hesitant, doubts himself, wants to work really hard, knows the climb ahead is tough. Tommy, on the other hand, is the whimsical force who you oftentimes don't trust. This dynamic, the way the characters play off one another, the way Greg feels indebted to Tommy, the frustration you feel as an audience member watching Greg put up with Tommy's shit, you just want to yell at the screen and tell Greg to leave this nonsense and do what he wants. The movie is a story about an unlikely friendship and what follows after that. They could have easily turned The Disaster Artist into a full-blown comedy. They could have easily turned it into a carnival sideshow about Tommy Wiseau, poking fun at his antics, his oddities, and the movie that he made, but it wasn't really like that. The Disaster Artist dove into the world of Hollywood impossibility, the odds being overwhelmingly stacked against you if you want to make it in the business. It was a story about saying, fuck it, let's make our own thing, and with that being said, it's still funny. It's impossible not to have humor in a movie like this when the main character is the way he is. Lacking self-awareness, having no filter, lying about where he's from, not telling anyone how he got his money and can afford a $6 million budget. It's just weird. It's just a weird story. Seth Rogen is also in the film and he plays Sandy, the script supervisor on The Room. They subtly use Seth Rogen, and I'm a big Seth Rogen fan, but I thought they were going to go into a more comedic direction, but the comedy was found in the overall ridiculous nature of what this production was really like. Seth Rogen's character gets frustrated, is surprised when his paycheck cashes, and eventually seems so apathetic towards the entire thing and just wants to get this shit over with. The entire dynamic between Tommy and the crew of the film was really well done. No one believed in it, and when they saw Tommy on screen, they sunk in their seats and just had no hope, desire, and couldn't care less about this production. And Greg, Tommy's friend, was the mediator, the person who often smoothed things over with everyone. Greg was the only person Tommy could trust. And that's what this movie excels at, the relationships. If this wasn't a true story, and we didn't have a ton of footage of Tommy Wiseau in interviews and whatnot, you'd probably think this character was too outlandish, too ridiculous, and not realistic. But nope, he's real. He's odd, and the movie does a fantastic job bringing that to life. Like I said earlier, I don't really understand the whole craze surrounding The Room. Yeah, it's a bad movie, but there are a lot of bad movies. I think the cult following must come from people's fascination with Tommy Wiseau, the mystery behind him, the strangeness of it all. I understand it from that point of view. But yeesh, I don't think I'll ever watch The Room again. And I don't know if The Disaster Artist itself has much of a rewatch value. The only way I can really see watching The Disaster Artist again is if someone is really into The Room and wants to show their friends The Room, and then they want to show their friend or friends The Disaster Artist. I don't know. I think just like The Room has a cult following, this movie will continue to have a cult following side by side with that. But yeah, long story short, The Disaster Artist is worth a watch. The Room, in my opinion, is not. Just watch The Disaster Artist. The story of the movie's making is far more interesting than the movie itself. HelloGreedo, out.